Good morning and welcome to the morning show with Angel and Tina and our fabulous studio guests. How are you guys doing today?
Good morning. Good
Good.
morning.
Hey Tina, how's it going?
He's doing fabulous. Today is day 10 of your birthday celebration. Go Shorty, it's your birthday. Go Shorty, it's your birthday. So, because my little handy dandy helper is not home today, he is on a bike ride. If you look to the right of you, you see a white box sitting there on the floor.
I do.
Okay. Pick that little white box up. Do not open everything. Just get one thing out of there. We have to be very specific with this one.
Okay, so there's a card.
Okay, you can do the card too.
Okay.
Card and then one thing.
Okay. Oh, ooh. Look at my journal and it's got my name on it on the little tab. Oh, look, a grateful heart sees many blessings. And it says Angel Tuccy. And what does it say? Take your time.
Take your time.
Oh, a personalized journal. Thank you. So Tina's been celebrating I'm turning 50 in a couple weeks. And she has been celebrating my birthday with the 12 days of birthday and sending me little surprises.
And let me tell you, it's a little challenging when you have to deliver something. Now, Uber Eats and stuff like that, that's good. I can do that all day long. But when you have to like schedule something to be delivered like from Amazon, so like your package on Monday, it was scheduled to be delivered on Monday and it got delivered Sunday. So I had to switch some things around.
You mean that you don't have your own special delivery service? Well, look what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my.
You can read this. Bring me some wine.
Yeah.
You don't want to fall backwards and have your feet.
No, that would be bad. That would be bad. She gave me my wine socks on Monday and I love them. They're so cute. They're pink and they're fuzzy. And so we were talking about surprises. So Danielle and Daniella are our guests today. I love that.
That's going to be hard for us.
You could be like, if you're looking for boy girl names, you could name your children Daniel and Daniella. How cute would that be? Do you guys like surprises?
Go for it.
Yeah, you like surprises? You love to be surprised?
I always say I have to be dressed for it, but that's okay.
Do you like to do surprises for other people?
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Let's go.
Sure, why not?
Okay, so my mom, was always big into surprises, like taking us on trips and planning parties, but she wasn't really good at it. Like, you'd walk in and you'd like stop talking or something was happening and you knew you were like being left out of something, but you never just assume that something good is happening, right? You always assume the worst. But I remember a few years ago, my husband's best friend was going to surprise his wife with a trip to Paris. And he was going to get a babysitter for the kids and he was going to shop for her and pack for her, like do everything, right? And Jay comes home and he's
telling her to Paris without her knowing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
I think he was gonna like tell her like the night before or something like that. But Jay comes home and he's like, Angel, Rob's gonna do this for Kim. And I was like, that's the awfulest surprise. That's awful. That's so mean. And Jay's looking at me like, what is wrong? That was so sweet and so romantic. I'm like, no, she's gonna freak out. Who has her kids and what is she wearing? I'm like, let her be a part of the anticipation and planning and knowing where her kids are going to be when she's out of the country. Like, it totally freaked me out. And that was a long time ago. And Jay's never planned surprises for me ever.
Yeah, that would freak me out too. Like, really freak me out. I would be, because you always want to buy new clothes and plan accordingly. And if you want to surprise somebody, have a little Paris themed whatever and say, hey, we're going to Paris. And then
Jay did do that. He one time he came home and he had bought a suitcase, and he brought like a little picnic. It had like French bread and brie and wine, and he in a suitcase. And he's like, I want us to plan a trip, and I want us to go to Paris. And it was like, oh, that's how you do it.
You got it. So how long did it take him? Like 20 years to realize that?
No, it was probably like 2 years later after that, but it wasn't a surprise. It wasn't like he planned the trip.
No, he just surprised you with the night.
Yeah, right. The idea is I would love for us to take a trip, and let's plan it and go with it together.
That's how it should be for us people, for people like you and I, people who need to plan, who need to prepare their clothing, their attire.
So Danielle, what's like I don't know, what have you ever surprised somebody with? What's a surprise story that you have? He's like, surprise, I don't know.
Seriously, I don't. I'm blank right now.
Has anybody ever done something for you? Ah,
Caught me by
Nope.
surprise there.
would you
Yeah.
like it? Would you like what kind of thing? Would you like to be surprised with dinner, with a trip, with, I don't know,
He's a
like
good guy.
I don't know. Surprise
No.
party? Has nobody's ever thrown you a surprise party?
No. I'm not one, like people don't tend to try to surprise me, I guess. Maybe I'm too serious most of the time. So they're afraid to. They're afraid
Yeah,
I'll
I
get
think
mad.
they know you'd figure it out.
Well, that too. Yeah, I'm hard to trick, so that could be it too.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I've never had a surprise party either.
My mom threw me my 30th surprise birthday party a month in advance. It was a month early.
So
And
did you have any idea?
no, I knew she was having a party. So that's how she pulled it off.
But you
And-
didn't know it was your party.
I didn't know it was for me. And when I got there, yeah, she surprised me. It was my 30th birthday party.
Well, that was a smart idea to plan it a month and ahead.
It was a whole, yeah, so it wasn't even thinking.
Yeah.
Right? Not even thinking about my birthday then. And so but she does it, like, she's always thrown surprise parties for my dad, and and my dad throws surprise parties for her. Like, that's just like their thing. And I think it scarred me. How about you, Daniella? Did anybody ever thrown you a surprise party?
Thrown me, my husband tries. So I'm a little bit like, hey Dee, we're having a party for you tonight. I'm not telling you anything about it, but at least get dressed. Because I don't want to be in like the wrong outfit. So they know already to be like, we're taking you out at 6. So I know that something's about to happen, but I don't know what. So for my birthday, it was a couple of years ago, my husband was like, get dressed. And I didn't know where we were going, but we ended up seeing Hamilton. So that was really, like, that Hamilton, but I felt really good about it because I knew something, I knew to anticipate something great, but then the surprise was even better. That was really great. I did actually think, though, I pulled something off for my dad that was remarkable, which I could share.
Yeah.
So my dad turned 75 a year and a half ago, January. And my mom was like, he's 75 years old. We got to do something. And I didn't know what it was, but he's the type of guy that he's behind the scenes of absolutely everything. I found, and he retired about 10 years ago, or maybe even longer. And I found every single person that he's ever impacted, worked with, spoken to. He was on Wall Street. Like, I went all around the globe.
Oh my gosh.
How did you find all these people?
I mean, you name it. Like, I went on LinkedIn and I did Google searches, and I literally unearthed his high school friends, college friends, all his former coworkers, all the people he worked with, all around the globe, from Sweden to Israel to everywhere.
Wow.
That was a big, huge task.
You could be like a private investigator.
I was so motivated by it, and I put together the most beautiful, and his favorite movie is E.T., and his name is Elliot Platt, so I made the whole movie. Instead of E.T., I changed it to like E.P., and he's flying in on the, I made it like, and then and then this other movie is The Natural, so then he swings the ball and it hits the goal, it hits the scorecard, and then we went
Creative.
the EP movie.
Very
And
creative.
Very
so I
creative.
told my dad, listen, we're having brunch on Sunday. Just get dressed. And he had no idea that it was going to be his very first time on Zoom. because my brother lives out of the country. And my brother came on and he's like, what's happening? And
Oh,
he set up and it was really cool. So he was
Oh, that's awesome.
amazing.
how long ago was that? When did you do that?
This was like January. I called it celebrating 76 years because it was January 20.
Like this last year, just like 6 months ago?
So no, a year ago,
A
January.
year ago. Okay.
So my baby's 1 and my dad's 75. So it was celebrating 76 years.
Daniella, you had a Zoom birthday party a year and a half ago, and now we're all on Zoom all the time.
And now I would have called it a watch party.
Right?
That's
love
really
that.
cool, right? You were trendy. You were throwing Zoom parties before they were cool.
Before they were cool, right? I think that would be my biggest thing is having a surprise party or something, somebody taking me somewhere where I don't know where I'm going is the attire.
Mm.
Yeah, you want like, especially you and your wall of shoes, like
Right?
right shoe.
Because, if you're walking, you can't wear 4-inch heels. If you're going to be, walking a lot, I have to be prepared.
Yeah, the walking, the shoes. In fact, I've got these I've got these cute little napkins that I'm going to send to you. They're so cute because they say
You're going to send to me napkins?
they're like cocktail napkins,
Oh.
the cute ones, but they
Oh,
say
yeah.
some like these boots were not made for walking.
Oh, yeah, right? Because like if you're going to say, oh, we're going to take a walk around Central Park, I'm not going to wear my 4-inch, Christian Louis Vuittons, my red bottoms. I'm not going to wear them out there. But if you tell me you're going to take me to Hamilton, maybe I'll wear my red bottoms.
Well, it's been fun having Tina. So yesterday I got a text message from somebody who, it was kind of random, but he had said that Jay had texted him, and I thought, well, why would you text? Like, what? It was just weird. And Jay looks at me, he's like, don't ask me. Like, okay, I can follow the rules. And so Tina's prepping me on how to be a good birthday guest.
Yes, I
not
For the
not
next
asking
week,
questions.
don't question anything he says. Don't question who's calling him or who's emailing him. Don't check his emails. Don't check his phone. Just for the next 2 weeks before your birthday.
Just behave, right? Well, and I just live in my little chair anyways, like, all this stuff that's
today. What are you wearing? What are you wearing, Angel?
Oh, so we have our clothing sponsor, Bliss by the Lake Boutiques. Got this fabulous, cute little frock. Super cute.
Frock.
$39. I love all her little $39 dresses. Like, you can buy a whole month's of wardrobe, right? But yeah, super cute. We're super grateful for our clothing sponsor. And speaking of sponsors, can we make an announcement? Is it
Yes,
too
let's make it.
premature?
I was so excited last night.
So, of course, July has been
upping our game a little bit.
July has been a huge month for the morning show. We have a new time. We have a new network. We're streaming on ZTV Network on multiple digital streaming channels. You can get us on demand, available in like 12 million households. It's amazing. And we've got new sponsors. And coming up, our brand new, fresh off the sponsor ink pen, I guess, click of a button, is Daniel Meyer. Daniel, thanks so much for supporting the morning show.
It's my pleasure. It's funny. I was talking to Tina about this yesterday. Where you guys started at and where you're at now, and then you did the celebration last week with bringing all the speakers back from the Connect Summits and your guests and everything. It just, you built so much so quickly. It's so impressive, and it's just an honor to be part of it. So it seems like a no-brainer for me to being a sponsor. And I love what you do. I love the energy you bring. Even though I'm usually serious and quiet most of the time, I still enjoy being part of this energy. And it's just a pleasure to be a sponsor. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, tell us a little bit about what your business is, what your company that is sponsoring our morning show this month, what it is, what it does, what it entails.
Sure. So Sonic VA, virtual assistants is what we do, right? So we are able to find people to help free up your time, to take away some of the mundane, routine, repetitive tasks that have to get done, but you shouldn't be the one doing. Really, the goal is to make sure that you're able to do what you do best. In fact, focus on what you do best by hiring somebody else to do a lot of the rest. So like social media posting, email follow-up, marketing campaigns, a lot of things that you probably have been doing yourself if you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, but it's not the best use of your time. So we specialize in finding VAs that can do that for you. I've been doing this for over 10 years, so I've got a pretty lot of experience in virtual staffing. And it's been a pleasure to be able to help a lot of small business coaches and experts and entrepreneurs. We can make a big difference. You know, I have a lot of clients that are really excited because they're able to finally free themselves up to do more of what they've always wanted to do. And they don't feel like they're should be doing something else. Like one of the dilemmas I think a lot of people face is you think about, I should be doing this, I should be doing this, and I'm not. And it gets in your head and it makes you feel like you're kind of negative and you're not being productive, and it drags you down. And what I like to talk about is that when I have my VAs do things for me in my business, I go to bed every night and I sleep pretty well because things are getting done while I'm sleeping. And when I wake up in the morning, I look at my phone and check what my team has been doing while I've been sleeping, and I already got things checked off my to-do list. So every single day, I start my day already having gotten things done. That really frees you up mentally to be able to be your best self. So that's really what we do.
That's what I need to do. Maybe I need to hire a VA so then that way I can sleep.
Well, there you go. That's the whole point. Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys who are listening. What is one thing that you would want to take off your to-do list? Like one
or take off your to-do list or even add to, because it's like, I should be doing this. I'm not doing this, but I should be. But because I don't have the time or the resources, I don't even take it on.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, what do you want to take off? But what also do you think you should add?
Yeah, put that in the comments. Let's see what everybody is saying. What do they, either the thing that they hate to do or
Danielle, I tell people about you all the time.
Thank you.
I do. People are like, I need a VA. I'm like, call Danielle. Oh, who do you guys know for VA? Yesterday. Call Danielle.
I was telling him that yesterday. I said, I think your name is probably one of the names that we bring up on the morning show the most often.
So it makes sense to be an official sponsor. So
now it's official. Now it's official.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, let's get to know our guests just a little bit better. And since we've introduced our sponsor, we'll wrap it up with our sponsor. But let me bring up Miss Daniella's bio, which I should have had as I was listening. I was just so enthralled with what Danielle was saying that I didn't bring up Daniella's
her bio.
So you guys talk a moment. Talk
amongst yourselves, please.
There it is.
So I'm excited because Daniella has some exciting news this week, and we're gonna let her say what her exciting news is. But we have gotten some pretty big authors here on the morning show.
I'm so proud of you, Daniella. I call her my butterfly, right? Because I met her back in, I think maybe it wasn't December. But it was towards the end of.
It was December because she was sitting next to me when you were up on stage at UWC. She was sitting next to me and she was like, "Is this how you cut your stuff?"
We were having at the taco place, and I'm like, I wrote a book. I don't know what to do with it. What do I do?
You made Angel.
Go in there.
And then she was like, "Is that a person?" And I said, yes,
it's a person. I'm a human, right? And you can pitch me. Okay. So Daniella teaches creatives how to sell. And I just love that tagline, because if you're somebody in the creative space, selling, like, you're so good at what you do, your art, your craft, but turning that into a profitable business engine is where Daniella comes in. She's a concept to market strategist for fashion and lifestyle. Creatives always wanted to know how she opened the door for opportunities, and she shares the 10 commandments to become a sales rock star and how anyone with an idea or art can have a fashion line. She's here to share how she teaches creatives how to sell, how anyone can build a fashion or lifestyle empire. You just need guidance. She does this through workshops, one-on-ones, and now through her newly released book, Looking Good, the 10 Commandments to Become a Sales Rock Star and Fashion Startup Playbook, which debuted as an Amazon #1 bestseller just a couple days ago. She's been building conceptual marketing campaigns for nearly 2 decades, taking people from concept to market to forever. and she's discovered that creatives really love her sales tricks, her skills, her tools to help anyone knock their sales out of the park and get your way for dinner too. So she wrote a book on it. I love it, Daniella. That's so cute.
Let's see what it is. Let's see this book,
Yeah,
this number one best-selling book.
Looking
Thank
good.
you. That was so exciting. So yes, so for the longest time, so I'm Daniella. Hi, everyone. For the longest time, I worked one-on-one, helping everybody craft their roadmap. What is your big idea? Let me run it with you. You know, take your small idea all the way to market. Let's get you sold. I've been worked corporately for 20 years, and then I was like, oh, I want to do this on my own. I'm a mom now. I have 2 babies. I want to kind of design my own schedule. So I was working one-on-one with everyone, but people were asking me the same questions all the time. I have an idea. How do I go to market? Or how did you open up that door? How did you get that appointment? And I started just telling people what to do. Like, here's how you have to give your offer. Here's how you have to get your yes. Here's how you have to position yourself. You're not there yet. How to overcome it out. And before I knew it, I was actually teaching people how to sell. And I was seeing people, I was just seeing people struggling with this. Like, they're creatives, they're small business owners. And they're constantly asking me these same critical questions. How did you open the door? And I have an idea. What do I even do? The business of fashion is so huge, and you've been inside it for so long. You know so many people. So I was like, well, they're not secrets I want to keep. I don't want to hold these tools. How can I possibly give it to you in the quickest way I possibly can? And I thought it would be really quick to write a book. But it wasn't.
It was pretty quick.
In the process, I hosted workshops on how to build your 7-figure fashion empire, how anybody can go to market in 90 days, and how anybody can be a sales rock star. And I have the workshop still available. And as I was talking to people, I was starting to write the book. And then, so it took me about a year to figure out what is the sales system. So back to my dad, who's been this like icon in my life. He's kind of, every time I try to not quote him, he pops back up. But my dad on Wall Street used to say, the 10 commandments of Wall Street are, when in doubt, make money. I was like, what are the other 9? So I had to kind of like think about it. I just like went really inward. Like, what is it that I do? What is it that people are saying to me? Hey, how do I do this? How do you know at which stage in the game can you throw out an offer? Do you ask for the yes? When are you friends? When do you make the deal? All these things to really open up the doors. And I just found creatives were saying to me, can you be my sales rep? And I was like, I'd love to be your sales rep, but are we even there yet? What if I could teach you to sell, teach a man to fish and eat for life? What if I could teach you that thing that I do? So I figured out the 9 steps that I do, in addition to like, when in doubt, make money, which is kind of what you guys did when you're like, well, I guess I'm home today. Let's start a talk show. Like, when in doubt, what do I have? Let's figure something out now, because my supply chain is changing. My lifestyle is when everything is changing, you have to figure out a different way to function. So that's like number 10. But I figured out the first 9, how to open doors, how to get your yes, some of my favorite scripts. And I wrote it down. And then I also, I wrote it down. So it took me a year. And I know like, we're like, you could write a book in 3 months, but I really had to figure out what is that system, and that system that I used. And I wrote it down, and I also talk a lot about fashion, because, you know, so I speak from the heart of the West Coast. I've been in media sales for fashion for over 20 years. And I just wanted to help creatives, designers, small businesses. I want to give you the tools so you can activate your dreams. So that's how it all began. And last week it went on Amazon, and I followed all of the advice that you guys shared, because this is not, you know, now I'm a best-selling author. But, you know, my business is teaching creatives how to sell, teaching people just making sales for other people, business development. That's my area of expertise. So I followed the tactics of, you know, throw your party, this is your pricing, and it really worked. It's been really, really magical. So I just want to help creatives, you know, unlock and make their opportunities not just real, but profitable and something they're proud of, so they can unlock their purpose.
I love that. I that, but you know what? There's one thing that nobody knows about your book is that you designed all the artwork.
Yeah. I do all the artwork. I mean, I do have some help. Like my friend Carly is a graphic designer, helped me get visually, because I never designed a book cover. Yeah, I do all the art. I did all the layout. I do all. Yeah.
She's like, I do it all. I'm
a one girl little show. And I actually, like Daniel, you were talking about automation. It's like, I can spend 3 hours making all the art, and I'm out of time because I don't have time to load it in social media. I have to go pick up my girls. And that's like a bottom.
But Daniella, you said you've got a system, and by being able to put it into that list of things and writing it down, that is the kind of thing you could just easily hand to a virtual assistant, because you've got the list, you've got the system. Now they can duplicate you. You get to stay in your creative zone, right, Daniel? Like you've got it listed, you can pass it off to somebody.
So that's sort of like what was happening was I'm becoming this mom, and I'm a hustler. Like I like to get out there. Let's go big. I like things big and fast. And I can, come on. I want everybody to achieve at the fastest possible. I work really fast. I had never faced this time crunch in my entire life and you guys have been there, your kids are older now, but I never faced a time crunch. I can normally talk to you for hours. I never get tired. I can just keep going. I had never had a time crunch where like, I'd love to talk to you more, but the conversation ends right now because school ends in 4 minutes. Like I've never been time impoverished.
How old are your kids?
2.5 and 4.
Wow. They're young.
They're really, so it really was like a radical shift, whereas like, I always have time for it. So now I was like, I want to give you guys the tools, but what can I possibly do to like spread myself as wide as I possibly can in the shortest amount of time? So at least like, I wrote it down for you. I have 20 minutes to talk to you, but here's my book. I wrote it down. Let's talk again tomorrow. But I want to be able to like give it to as many people who can really benefit from it.
So how long did it actually take you from actually starting to write your book, not the idea of it, but starting to write your book to publish?
So you guys everybody has kind of a different process. As a creative thinker, I kind of have like the business brain, which is like very linear. I'll get stuff done, no problem. But then I have the creative side, which creativity happens in the shower. Creativity happens when you're kind of like lying on the pillow and you're like, shoot, where's a pen? Where's a pen? So figuring out what are the 10 commandments to be a sales rock star, I'd be like having dinner with my girls and I'd be like, excuse me a minute, I have another thing to add. So it took me, I had the idea about a year ago. I was coaching Dr. Sonia Stribling. She was like, I'm gonna teach you to be an author, a coach, and a speaker on what you know. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? I don't even know what that means. So when I say to you guys, like, I did not know this world existed. I did not know this world existed. Like never. I was the corporate girl doing everything for everybody. I hear like Daniel like.
Me too. Yep.
So it took me. So I was told like, you're sitting on this gold mine of information, but I didn't know how to get it out. And so last year, June, I said, I need to pick one thing. I just need to pick one thing because you can do everything, but one thing at a time. And especially for me, being this time impoverished person, I was never finishing my don't list. I should just don't list. I was never finishing it. So
hashtag the to don't list.
The to don't list. I know.
Don't even think about social media because you're not going to finish it. My friends.
Instead of the to do, it's to don't.
It's don't. Tina was teasing me this morning because I had a list and she's like, I said, I write all this stuff down. And she's like, and then you don't do it.
And then you have to like pick like what here really needs to be done. So that's so a year ago, January, I was like, well, I'm sitting on all this information and it was, I don't want to say holding me back, but it really was like, I was ready to go out and go run a department for TikTok, or I was like really ready to propel myself forward. But I also was sitting on all this information and I wanted to give it to people because people were asking me for it. So then I was like, well, let me just write it down. And I thought, okay, I'll just write it down. I'll spend the summer writing and it'll be done. So I actually finished it in March. I want to say, I'm sure.
Now, Daniella, I know she's been so creative and she's been putting in a lot of it, but when she actually sat down to get it done, it took you less than 90 days to actually finish the project.
It probably, like, by the time I got the thoughts together.
Yep. Because you've now published 2 books in the last 90 days.
I published this book in 2 parts. The one is like the fashion starter playbook.
She's going to play small and I'm not going to let you.
Okay, I have to.
Daniella,
books in the last 90 days.
She had to pound it into me. Tina, you got to tell them you're a best-selling author. I'm like,
you're an award-winning author. You're a best-selling author. You published 2 books in the last 90 days. Yes, it's taken you and you've got all this wisdom that you poured into it, but you also did it with 2 babies at home, Daniella. You are truly, seriously, she is my butterfly. She has just blossomed in the last few months. She had it all inside of her. Nobody is denying that at all. But you published 2 books in the last 90 days.
She does not let it
you were talking about, like, I'm going to make you an author, and I'm like, what does it even mean? I don't know what that means. And I really, I did not know how to do this. And it's you and all your, everybody that you bring in your network. That took me to the finish line. Especially, we had our meeting. I finished this, I want to say March 11th. And the next day it was like, oh yeah, every trade show that you wrote about canceled. Yeah, so I finished March 11th and I just didn't know what to do, but I just wanted to put it out there. So I still worked on it, but I kind of updated it a little bit post-COVID, but I just kind of feel like, the tools are still the same, and we're back, we're shedding our quarantine clothes. We're getting them back out there, and the book is out. So yeah.
Okay, so Daniella, how do you want people to connect with you?
Okay, so if you want to connect with me, so I have the door opener script that hands down always works, always. So if you'd like me to send to you the script, I will be honored to do so. I have 3 easy tips to help you open doors to success and how anybody can start a fashion line. 3 easy tips you can start today. It includes this incredible door opener script. So if you want my 3 easy tips to open up doors, including this incredible script, it's yours. Just text me. So let me give you, just text me at 859-359-6190. So just
say that again.
Say that number again.
So I'm gonna give you guys my number once again for 3 easy tips to open up unbelievable doors, including one of the best sales scripts that you can plug and play today. 859-359-6190. And just text me, just say hi.
Say hi. Just say hi. I love it.
Just say hi, and I'll be like, hey, you want my 3 easy tips? They're on their way.
Hey, you want my 3 easy tips? They're on their way.
Like, hey, buddy.
And I do have, if anybody wants to share I'll throw this one into you, but if I can give away 10 ebooks today. So if you do want to share your big idea, just text me your big idea, and I'll throw in an ebook for you.
Well, congratulations, Daniella. We're very, very proud of you for blossoming like a butterfly and putting all the work into it and hustling like you always do.
I just want to celebrate with you so badly in person, because it's your juju and energy that was really, this is possible? Yes. Yes. I'm so thank you guys. It's really been remarkable to, I do this for other people, and it's really nice to have that self piece.
Well, celebrate. I hope you celebrate. This is a big deal.
Stop playing small.
Right? You are a best-selling author. A year ago, you never even imagined being in this space, and look where you are now, a best-selling author. And there's so many people that come up to me and they say, Angel, I've always wanted to write a book. I've been thinking about writing a book for years, and the fact that it can actually be possible can be mind-blowing. But there's nothing like getting your book in the mail and holding onto it and seeing, and it doesn't matter whether it's your first book or your 11th book. it is still a huge
It is. It's a
monumental
very
expression of
emotional
you.
thing. When I did mine, I like got tears in my eyes, and I was like,
Oh,
what's going on? Like, and it's very emotional because it's like a baby. You're birthing a baby, and you finally get to hold it, and you're like, I did it.
it's
I did
very,
it.
yeah, you created it, and it's very brave to put your words in print, because you know, you can't take it back. You can't say, well, I didn't say that. Well, yeah, you did. It's like, it's all right here. And so to put yourself out in that space is very vulnerable, very brave. And I just want to celebrate you, Daniela, because I saw it in you the day I met you. I'm like, she's got the goods. She's got the goods. That girl's gonna fly. That girl's gonna
Yeah, the word vulnerable. That's definitely critical. That I just felt like I have to rise above it, as I feel like, oh, so vulnerable, but I had to rise above it because I want to give it out.
Well, I'm proud of you. Let's get to
Thank
know
you.
Daniel a little bit better. And I just love that Daniela talked about systems and writing things down to feed the fish, right? Or to teach people how to fish so that you get it out and you duplicate yourself. Well, Daniel heads both Sonic Analytics and Sonic VA, sister companies that deliver both data analytics solutions and virtual staffing to businesses in the United States and the Philippines. He has over 20 years in big data and virtual staffing, and he is one of the most sought after public speakers in Asia. He offers big data coaching and analytics training seminars on both sides of the Pacific. And Sonic Virtual Staffing brings virtual staffing solutions like graphic design, social media management, bookkeeping, and specialized virtual assistants for authors and professional speakers to small and medium-sized organizations looking to scale on a budget and looking for 24/7 staffing options. His business handles over dozens of clients and employees, over 100 virtual employees with a wide range of services. And he is the sponsor of the morning show with Angel and Tina. Daniel, I'm super excited that you're here.
Thank you. It's fun. It's really fun to be here. So, it's funny, Daniella, you're saying something that made me think of some advice I got from a mentor when I first launched my first business. He said the first thing you have to do to be successful is find people that can be your disciples, your apostles. You have to duplicate yourself in what you do. And it was perfectly timed when I heard that message, because I had been trying to do everything myself. Like, I launched a business, I had investors, but no actual partners. I was doing my own social media. I was doing my own bookkeeping. I was doing my own, like, trying to get myself booked to speak and do trainings. And it was just running me ragged. And so I needed to hire a couple people to help. And back then I didn't have an office. So I hired a couple of VAs, and those two turned into a dozen, which turned into 30, 40. Now I have 100, right? And so I was able to grow from that original plan. I built a system where I could keep leveling up. And then now I do the same thing for other people. But it all goes back to that advice I got when I was right there that first year doing my own thing. I hit a wall. I needed to be able to duplicate myself and find people that I could delegate things to. And that's what's made me successful. It's really that simple piece of advice and using it every day. So it's pretty cool.
Daniel, I remember early on in my, I guess, my corporate career, right? Adulting, I had said that a milestone for me, I will know I'm a success, like, kind of hit these milestones when I have my own assistant, because I was a tournament assistant for the PGA. And I had said very early, like, when I have my own assistant is when I'll know that I have made it, right? That was a milestone for me. And I remember hiring my first assistant. But I think the fact that you can now hire multiple assistants and have them work virtually, have them work round the clock, that's just a game changer for small businesses.
Yes. Yeah, I think right now, we're in a point where, with everyone trying to find ways to work from home, make some revenue on the side, whatever they're trying to do to stay ahead during the current economic times, having the people that can work around the clock and having the technology available, the cloud storage, the social media, publishing apps, everything we can do. We couldn't have done this 10 years ago. So as bad as it sounds, in some ways, we have a bit of a blessing that this is happening to us in 2020, because we can handle it. We can roll with it. We can figure out how to turn, a crisis into opportunity for a lot of people. And I see a lot of people out there that have pivoted, right? They decided, I can't keep doing what I was doing. I need to pivot. I need to try something new. And in a lot of those cases, virtual staffing is a great way to be able to scale without taking a lot of risk on as far as physical locations. So it's a good place to be for me right now. I wish it wasn't this way. I do miss being on the road. I do miss seeing everyone in person, and I can't wait till that comes back. But in the interim, it's a good way to grow your business, is really to think about how to use virtual staff to scale up. So
what is one thing that people come to you for? What is that one thing? Social media management, maybe?
usually the entry point is social media for most people, because they know they're not doing it as well as they wish they could. And this is really the kind of the thing you need to do, is that you need to be consistent with social media. Like, audiences expect things, right? So even if people aren't going to be on your show or watch your show every day at 11 o'clock, they know it's going to air every day at 11 o'clock, and they can find it on social media. And they get that in their head that every day at 11 o'clock, the Angel and Tina show is going to drop a new episode, right?
And you get texted if we're not on.
Right. So it builds that consistency, which really helps your brand, grow. And social media is hard to be consistent if you're a solopreneur. Because one day you may be in meetings all day, one day you may have to take care of the kids, one day you may have to do X, Y, or Z. And so you're not posting every day at 11 o'clock. So your audience doesn't know exactly when to find you and what to find from you. So if you have a VA whose primary job function is to manage your social media, every day at 11 o'clock, your stuff will go out. If people engage with it, they'll get replies. Things will happen in real time when you have somebody who's dedicated to do that. I find that's why people start with social media. Plus, it's scary. I mean, like if you use Facebook a lot because you're like a Gen X, Instagram might scare you a little bit because it's mainly people that are younger, or who even knows how to start with TikTok if you're a baby boomer, right? It's like you need somebody else that can kind of translate the trends from different generations. And having a social media expert who is probably younger and more open to trying different things is also an advantage a lot of people come to me for. So,
are you using TikTok for your business?
I'm exploring it, right? So I'm trying to figure out, I love TikTok. I think it's really cool. I don't know exactly how to sell virtual staffing through TikTok yet, but we have been talking about trying to figure it out. And when we figure it out, I will share it with you. So.
I think it's so fun watching all the people do their little TikTok videos. Yep. And
are you doing TikTok videos, Tina?
I'm not in the TikTok thing. I'm on all other social media platforms.
That surprises me. You seem like a TikTok girl.
Everybody thinks I am, but I don't think I can do the TikTok thing. I just don't have the time right now to sit there and figure it out and do these little dances. And I mean, I'm a dancer and everything. Are you guys using TikTok? Daniella, are you using TikTok at all?
I've done a few of them, with food, just to kind of play around. A couple of months ago, I was told, grab your handle because it's about to blow up, and here we are. But my
grab your handle.
Funny, my husband, the daughter, just sprained her ankle doing a TikTok. Like everybody's doing it. Yeah, she's. So, I think they're really fun. My 4-year-old likes to scroll up and watch them.
I mean, I like to watch them. I think they're hilarious. People, making money, making all this food, and they're like stopping it and it comes out. And I'm like, oh, but how long did it actually take them for the 30-second video?
I don't TikTok. I don't even watch them. So, right, this is like a whole nother area, but this is what you're saying, Danielle, all those things, like if you think, well, I should be doing, and every time you go to a new workshop, like, even these virtual summits, you hear all these fabulous speakers talking about all these things, and you're like, come out with 20 new things on your to-do list of things that you could be doing. And then, so you just can take your to-do list and call Daniel and say, okay, these are the things that are on my list. Who do you got?
Yep.
Well, especially if you want to reach that younger consumer. That I started seeing, like one of the brands I follow is Prana. So I see they do a lot of very sophisticated stuff on Instagram, but then I'm following their TikTok, and it's really young. And it really, and I'm not so young, but I find it so refreshing to watch. So it's just a great way to reach that hard to reach consumer.
Yeah, I agree. And if you look at what kids are doing today, I have a couple of nieces and a nephew that are between 12 and 8. And I watch what they do. They're always on YouTube, TikTok. They're consuming tons and tons of content in channels that most of us wouldn't even think of using. And it's really, like you're saying, if you want to penetrate that younger audience, especially the Gen Z, you've got to stay on top of these new emerging technologies. And for people like us, I think, especially for me, it's just, I can't keep up. I try, but I don't have the time to learn everything. So I delegate the learning to some of my staff too. I assign people, okay, I'm not going to figure out how to make a TikTok video to sell virtual staffing. I'm going to have one of my 22-year-old VAs do it because they're going to probably do it much better than I could ever do. So that's really how you start learning technology, through hiring people.
I love how you said that. I'm delegating my learning even,
Yes.
right? I think that's kind of mind blowing, Daniel.
He was telling me that yesterday. I was telling him about an email platform that I use. He's like, I'm not familiar with it, but I'll hire somebody to
learn it.
learn it. And I was like,
Brilliant.
It's something that I learned it on my own, but it was kind of solidified when I read Timothy Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. There's a lot of things in that book that are about building systems to scale. And one of the things is you have to figure out how you can't learn everything yourself, right? So you got to surround yourself with experts. And one way you can do that growing a business is you figure out things that you would like to know, but you just don't have time, or you wouldn't be the best person to be the expert. And you surround yourself with someone who is.
so you hire somebody to do all your education. You get the cliff notes, and then you're like, oh,
Exactly.
good.
You see the cliff notes, right? You know, you just
notes.
know what's happening. Yeah.
I should have thought about this back in high school and college.
I think that's just, I mean, and again, this is, I mean, if you're going to be the CEO of your company, right, and not have your hand in everything, we don't have to be good, like you were saying, Daniella, like one thing at a time. Like you stay in your lane, you focus on what you're an expert at. And I think then we think to delegate the things that we already know, right? I know how to do this, but I can pass this on, but I don't even actually have to know how to do it, and I can still pass it on because I can have you learn how to do it. I just think that's a game changer.
Brilliant idea.
Mhm. Okay, so Daniel, how do people work with you?
So the best way to get a hold of me is to just go to the website, sonicva.com, SONICVA. Sonic, just so you know, it's like, you know, the hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog. But my son was really big into Sonic the Hedgehog. And when I named the company, I just needed the name, and it seemed to make sense because we help people find VAs that help them accelerate their business growth by.
Speaking of your son, he works with you now, right?
Yeah, my son is actually one of my VAs. It's really cool. It's he's working for Zandra actually. So he does a lot of her video, like the editing and so forth. And it's really cool having my son. He's 21 now. And he was going to school, but with COVID, everything kind of went to a shutdown. So he needed to work and was trying to find all these jobs. I'm like, well, why don't you just do some VA stuff for me? And then now it's turned into him for a full-time gig where he's getting paid to be a VA. So it works out really well for me.
Well, and he gets to do what he loves to do, what he's
He
really
loves YouTube.
good at.
YouTube is his playground, and he gets paid to play on YouTube. So
I should tell that to my son. My son's always bringing me, like you said, they watch and consume stuff that I would never, right? Because they're just a different demographic. And so he shows me things, but they're on their phones, they're consuming information all the time.
Well, that's how the PRAM program came about.
It is how, because Michael, my son, he's like, Mom, automate that, right? And how do you do that? And so they are a wealth. They just think differently. They just think differently than we do. It's not good, bad, or it's just different. And it can be really mind opening. And Danielle, I just think this is the beginning of a very beautiful friendship.
Next level. We're evolving as we go.
I appreciate him.
Yep.
I do too.
Have a lot of fun together, me and Daniel.
Yeah.
Take
So
this and make it happen.
this is, and you said it. I mean, even with the technology and the cloud and all the services that we have to stay connected 24/7. I mean, even the Google Drive, right, where people can go in and change documents and have access to. We didn't used to have all that, right? It was, I've got this piece of paper, or I've got an address book. How do I get that address book to you? And now it's a whole new world. So I'm excited about the changes. I'm like you, Daniel. I would love to see us getting back out together, but I just don't see that happening anytime.
I don't either. You know, I was talking to this team yesterday. It's like, you know, I want to be optimistic, but I'm at the point now where I'm planning we're not going to have any more in-person events until this vaccine, which may be January, right? So I'm planning as if we're going to have to do completely virtual business between now and the end of the year. And I hope that gives me a way to adapt to it. And I pray I'm wrong. I hope things change sooner than that, but I'm prepared. So if we can't go back to speaking at live events and doing things and congregating in groups, then I'm going to be okay. I'm going to figure out how to survive through this.
One more thing, Daniel, we didn't really talk too much about, but you work a lot in the Philippines and in Asia. How did like, if somebody wants to go international, what are some tips that you would recommend for that?
Cool. So there's one thing I'll talk about the Philippines specifically, and then just international in general. So the Philippines is a great place for Americans to do business because the Philippines used to be an American colony. So just a quick history lesson, right? They speak an American style English. They have an American style business culture. So it's easy to do business as an American in the Philippines because of that. And the other thing is because of that background, pretty much every big American corporation has a call center in the Philippines. That's how I ended up there, right? So I used to work for Wells Fargo. And when I was at Wells Fargo, we started setting up a team in the Philippines to do some data analytics, some 24/7 data processing. And I went there to do training. And I never came back really. Like I physically came back for another year before I left Wells Fargo, but I was set on moving to the Philippines. I did that. I love the Filipino culture. My ex-wife is Filipina, so that kind of explains a little bit more of that. And I go back as much as I can. I still have a couple businesses there. I was there in January. I'll go back as soon as it's safe to travel again. And in the Philippines, I just think it's a great place to do business. And business coaching, strategy, anything that we do, a lot of that will apply in that business environment. Southeast Asia in general, especially before the pandemic and most likely and definitely after, it will be the economic hub, right? The economies there, like Vietnam and Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, they are driving forward because they have a very young demographic. The Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, they have average ages of like 22, 23 years old. Where here in the US and Western Europe, the average age is closer to 50, right? So that's the future, right? And China has invested heavily in Southeast Asia and growing there. So if you're thinking about doing business internationally in the next 20 years, you've got to have a Southeast Asia focus. That's where the growth is going to come from.
Good to know. Well, we've got an in, right? We've got an in with Daniel, right? And it's always nice to have somebody who is familiar with where you're going to open up those doors for you. And with our Daniella's script that will open up any door for us, right?
Exactly.
Now we have this winning combo with our Daniel and Daniella team today. I love it.
I love it.
Now we can just I just want a virtual, can you do virtual hugs since we can't get to
Oh, we did the virtual, what did we do?
You hug, right? Like you actually hug.
Yeah.
Like you gotta like squeeze your shoulders because it's like giving yourself a hug. So yeah, that's our virtual hug. Because we had to figure that out. Like, is it a this? Is it like what is it? No, you've got to actually like hug.
You got to feel it.
You do. Well, we're feeling it. We're feeling it today. This has definitely been a bright start to our day. I'm super excited to see how we're shifting and pivoting and growing and inspiring others to come along and creating all these tools and methodologies that we can all grow and rise up together. We don't have to feel like we're all by ourselves. We're not in this. Like I saw somebody said, we're all in the same storm. We're just all in a different boat. But we're all in a storm right now, and just recognizing that there are a lot of ways that we can help each other. And I just saw this post when I went over to LinkedIn because I was looking you up, Daniel. But it was oh shoot, it disappeared. I lost it. But it's when you something about do good, like do the best you can, right? And then when you know better, do better, right? And so I know I just slaughtered it, but like, let's do better.
No,
right?
I like that. When you know better,
if we learn, do what we can with what we know, like do the best we can with what we know. And when we learn something new, right? Let's keep doing better and keep doing better for each other. So I can't find it, but it's gone. But it'll show up. It'll show up as soon as this episode is over. But we are so excited for the growth, for the folks that have been coming on. Really encourage our audience to connect with our guests. They're out there making things happen and making an impact and making a difference. And the tips and the tools, even just getting to know them, right? Follow them and reach out to them and tell them you heard about them on the morning show. Let them know that the impact that the show is making for you. And then make sure you hang out with us. We've got our Connect Summit is coming up at the end of the month. on July 28th. Jeffrey Levine, our wealth building strategist, is our sponsor for that. We've got an entire lineup of fabulous speakers. We've got Joe Kenmore from Banner Season is our keynote speaker for that. And we're just doing what we can to serve you. And if there's anything else that we can help and provide, if there's a speaker you want us to bring on, make that introduction. And we've got a platform right here for them. And you can hang out with me. Go to makeyourbigimpact.com, download your complimentary media guide at makeyourbigimpact.com. Guaranteed media exposure, lots of great things that you can use to send to get your story out into the media. So leverage, we talk about exposure and distribution here, and you can get started at my website, makeyourbigimpact.com.
I love it. I love it. I am starting a new Facebook challenge next week where it is how to build relationships virtually.
Ooh, oh, you are the queen.
Yeah, because it's so hard, to keep on building those connections and those relationships. So I'm going to give you 5 easy tips on how to build those authentic yet effective relationships with your clients and your customers, and even your friends from all around the world, doing simple little things like sending coffee via Uber Eats.
Which she has done. It's impressive.
It gets there right on time, too. I'm Tina Torres, a client retention expert and gratitude specialist, obviously. And you can get your 7 ways to increase your cash flow if you text the word connection to 26786. That's 26786. Text the word connection. You can get your 7 ways to increase your cash flow. In there, you're going to learn how to create clients for a lifetime, build those relationships that matter, those things that we need to do to build that KOT factor, turn those clients into referral partners and raving fans, and increase your cash flow all at the same time. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are Angel and Tina on the Angel and Tina Morning Show, where we come to you live every weekday morning at 11 o'clock, giving you a virtual hug. We will see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.